Now, with muscle tissue, these are composed of cells called different muscle fibers. And so these are going to be stimulated by the nervous system. And so these are the fibers then will shorten or will contract and then will relax and lengthen. The results are going to be then of shortening is going to be movement. So example will be like skeletal muscle. So this will be movement of bones. Also, smooth muscle will have movement of food. And then lastly, within the heart, cardiac muscle will be movement of blood. And so there's three main classifications of smooth muscle. We have skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. When we begin with skeletal muscle, these are going to be composed of cells of muscle fibers that are going to be cylindrical and long. And so some of these will actually be the entire length of the whole muscle. So here, let me circle one of them right here. So here we have an example of a cell. These are multinucleated, so what we see here in the black, and they are going to have a striated appearance to them where they're light and dark, light and dark, light and dark bands, and these will be voluntary. This is the only muscle tissue that will be voluntary that we talk about in the body. Here what we'll find is that these will be attached to bones of the skeleton, so together they will move our body, but also these will be sometimes attached directly to the skin, so such as some muscles within the forehead. Now, the second type of muscle tissue we're looking at is cardiac muscle tissue. This is only found in the wall of the heart or the myocardium. These cells are going to be a little bit different than skeletal muscle. They're going to be branched and have this Y shape to them. So here is a great example of this Y shape, and it's going to continue and keep branching and attached to other fibers. This too, though, will have a striated appearance, so alternating light, dark. And now this is under involuntary control of contraction. This also now will have about one nuclei per fiber. So the fibers are going to be shorter, and now they only have one. Important thing now is that when we have contraction of the myocardium, we'll have movement of blood so that it will circulate with each heartbeat. All right, the last of the muscle tissue is smooth muscle tissue. And so here we find this in walls of most internal organs. So for example, within the stomach, or like in this picture, what we have are in the intestines and the urinary bladder. These cells are going to be relatively short compared to skeletal muscle, and they're going to be wider in the middle and taper off at the ends. And so it has this fusiform or spindle-like appearance to them. So here would be an example. And this, just like cardiac muscle, is involuntary. However, the difference here, you don't see any striation, so there's no alternating light and dark bands. The contraction here will cause movement of food, of blood, or of sperm, depending on the location.